Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen.
And my name is Katie. And we want to spend a few minutes a day with you walking through the New Testament, one chapter at a time. This year, we will fix our gaze upon Christ so that we may know him, not only with our minds, but with our hearts.
Together, we will learn that who Jesus is changes everything. Welcome back to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Kristen Schmucker, and we are in Luke 14 as we work our way through the New Testament, one chapter at a time, and seek to behold Jesus. I am loving this slower pace and how it helps us to see so many connections between the different passages that we study each day. I'm using the Behold studies from the Daily Grace Co. as well as the free reading plan, and you can find all of that information in the show notes. Yesterday, we talked about the religious leaders attacking Jesus about the Sabbath, and we are beginning with another event that is very similar. The Sabbath meal was the highlight of the week, and we see Jesus eating this meal with a leader of the Pharisees. But Jesus is drawn to people in need of his grace, and immediately he sees a man with a medical condition. This condition is what we may refer to as edema and involves a buildup of fluid in the body, swelling, and sometimes even organ failure. What grabs my attention here, though, is that Jesus addresses the judgment in the hearts of the religious leaders. They never actually voiced their disdain for the healing that he was about to do. When he asked them if he should heal the man, they would not even answer him. They were speechless. So Jesus healed the man, and in doing so, he exposed their legalism and the hardness of their hearts. The majority of today's chapter is centered around pride and humility. As the conversation shifts, we should keep in mind that Jesus is still at dinner. Jesus speaks to those that are looking for the best spot at the table. This isn't a new concept. In Luke 11, just a few chapters earlier, Jesus addressed the Pharisees who loved the best seats in the synagogue. The root of this issue is that they thought too highly of themselves. Jesus' message was surprising to his listeners, and it is countercultural for us as well. Our culture tells us to work our way to the top. We are conditioned by social media to compare ourselves to others. We even laugh when other people who we may see as our enemies fail. But the message of Jesus is that if we truly understood who he is, and if we truly understood the gospel, then we would humble ourselves and seek their good above our own. This is who Jesus is and what he has done for us. The incarnation itself, in which Jesus, the Son of God, took on human flesh to come to earth for us, is all the demonstration that we need of what it means to follow him in humility. According to this text, one way we can display the gospel is to give to those who can give nothing to us. That is what Jesus has done for us. Jesus then tells a parable of a banquet. It was custom during this time for two invitations to go out. The first went out plenty of time before the event, and after the RSVPs came in, the host would be busy preparing the feast. Then, when it was time, a reminder was sent out that the banquet was ready and it was time for the guests to come. In this parable, we see that the first invitation went out to the people of Israel in the Old Testament. It came through the law and the prophets, and now the second invitation was Jesus himself. He had come to say the banquet is ready. But sadly, what we see in the Gospels is that just as in this parable, the response to Jesus was excuses. In the parable, there are lists of excuses of why each person will not be able to make it. The world had distracted those invited from what matters most. But the beauty is that the Master sends out the invitation to whoever will come, just as the message of the gospel has gone out to whoever will believe. The passage ends with a reminder of the cost of following Jesus. This was not exactly a church growth strategy. Instead, Jesus warned the people that the life of a disciple is a costly life. It is a life that is marked by taking up a cross, just as our Savior has done before us. It will cost to follow him, but it will be worth it. Jesus uses strong language. At one point in this passage, he even says that we must hate our families to follow him. That definitely catches our attention. Jesus is using language to prove a point that our love for him should be so great that all the other loves of our life do not even compare. The other things appear to be hated because of how great our love is for him. I love this quote by the theologian Thomas Boston. He says, "No man can be a true disciple of Christ to whom Christ is not dearer than what is dearest to him on earth. This is the way that we are called to live and to love him." Today we behold Jesus. We see him as the one who knows our thoughts and sees us in our need. We behold him as the one who has humbled himself in love to come to earth to rescue and redeem. We see him as the one that is worth following, even when it means that we will carry a cross in his name. We behold him as the one that we love and who has loved us far more than we could ever comprehend.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. Don't forget to check out the show notes for helpful links and resources related to today's episode. And make sure you are following at Daily Grace Podcast on Instagram for more A Year in the Bible content, and at the Daily Grace Co. for all things Bible study resources. We can't wait to study again with you tomorrow. Bye, friends.